Your horse.
Very.
That was very interesting. You learn a lot about how the two of you work together.
Exactly. Yeah. And just kind of how I accepted a lot that
yeah, not anymore you don't.
Shouldn't have been.
Because you don't want to, you don't want to get stuck.
No.
You don't, I mean, most of the time, what you should expect is some progression, maybe a little plateau. Progression, maybe a little plateau. Where we get stuck is if there's a basic understanding or response or quality that's not understood or not consistent. Okay? So like with the last young horse, what does he need to understand? When I say go, I mean it. And with him, you're compensating with him either not answering you and or getting ahead of you.
Yeah.
Okay? So you just have to say, well, okay, that was really good for me to watch that. I learned a lot about that. And it was interesting too, in terms of the way he felt through the outside rein, it didn't look that obvious. So she was going, oh man.
Yeah.
So it's not that I'm questioning what she felt.
Right.
It's that I did want her not to overreact. It's fine to address it.
Right.
But I didn't want her to overreact.
Yeah, because
okay?
it could be just a different, different feeling too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, and if... He's not bad in this John Paul. I know, you're a good boy, huh? Yeah. Oh, hi there. How are you? That's right. So they should stretch to the bit without rooting in the bit or yanking in the bit or leaning on the bit. If when you go to flex him right, you feel him grab the left rein, yes, you do need to probably counterflex him. But what I didn't want to see, and we talked about it, I'm not, talking behind her back. What I didn't want to see is the neck swinging ever, or the shoulder really popping.
Yeah.
Okay? So keep going with your warm-up, and you and I are going to work on the tempies today, because Julia rode him the other day, and he was behind the aid, the one direction. Let's see, what would it have been? Behind the aid from, right to left, and ahead of her, not waiting, from left to right, every change. And she wants to move up, and that won't happen if we don't have more control of the tempi changes.
I'm going to adjust this really quick.
That's fine.
It's going to bother me where I put it.
You want me to hold him? He says, I don't mind stopping. No, I don't mind stopping. So these horses were bred to be smart and quick, get away from the bull. And they've changed their breeding program, and they're breeding them for more ability to extend. They would have, now they haven't changed the Lipizzaners, but they are changing the PREs or the Andalusians, because they want to win. If they want to have a team together for some, world championship, and they want to win. They come out of the womb piaffing and passaging generally, but the extensions were, in the past, a weak point. So Julia rode him the other day, and she got to watch and really see what his understanding was specific to the how he responds to the changes. So in your warm-up, you want to be sure he's laterally responsive. You ask him to move off the left leg, he does it. You ask him to move off the right leg, he does it. And it feels as though you have shoulder control. You can change. When we talk about flexion, we're talking about either lateral, jaw and pole, longitudinal, roundness over the back. Bending references nose to tail. When you have a short-bodied horse, short-coupled horse that sometimes gets tight in the back, the bending takes more time, but there's not as much difference in your leg positioning, okay? If I've got a horse that's 17.2 and, long, my leg placement is very different than on a shorter coupled horse. You okay?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't wear my belt, so I'm walking around.
All right. Okay.
I think that's going to be a winner.
What?
It'll be a winner in the pocket.
Yeah. I put it in the pocket. I don't want it banging around on my waistband. And you also don't want it to fall off. Oh, you dropped your stick.
Yeah, I'm a mess, sorry.
You're a mess. Hi.
Hey, I think we're secured now.
Are you secured?
I am
Are you ready to go?
I am.
Okay, come on.
Thank you.
Let's go. So we have to know we can keep their focus and have them chew and have them follow our intention, our line of travel, our weight. They have to let go over the back and swing. These horses at times tend to move like this, right? Rather than this. But you know what's cool about them? They have such a great relationship with people in general. I know that when you first got them, it was difficult, but in general, if they've been raised properly, they have this great affinity for people. They really like people, and the people who have them get really attached to them because they're very people-oriented. And the suppleness of the back is something you'll always be working on. And also the reach without speed. The good news is they generally have a high affinity for collection. The pirouettes aren't hard for them. Generally speaking, piaffe passage aren't hard for them. There's always an exception. We had one all the way to Grand Prix, and man, we had a hard time with the piaffe. I don't know what it was. I think he just locked his back up. But the idea is that you feel as though he follows you. The haunches don't swing out on the circles. The haunches don't swing out in the corners. You feel where his hips and shoulders are. If when you bend him, he grabs the outside rein, it's fine to go back and forth between inside bend or counter flexion or counter bending. I don't care. But I don't, you know, the other day I was fussing a little bit about the swinging, okay? If he swings the neck, he's not really on either rein, right? So you just want to be sure if he needs to be more supple, it's fine to use a short, direct rein, whether it's an inside rein or a counter flexion, still the inside rein. And we want him to be on one rein or the other, or both reins. If we do this, he's not on either rein, is he? Not really. There you go. So keep your inside hand a little bit more off the neck. If the inside hand is pressing into the withers or neck, your inside leg isn't quite getting the reaction you need. And then I want to see leg gilding with a lot of angle. Flex him to the right. There you go. There you go. Lots of angle. Go to the mirror. Get over there. There you go. Good. Now back to the quarter line the other way. Flex him left. Sit in the middle. Take the right rein. Yeah. Over. Yeah. Circle right. 10 meters. Bend him right. Left leg a little back. Don't let him run. Bend him right. That's right. There. Good. You should see his inside eye. Okay? Yeah. And then do the leg gilding with more angle like you did last time. That's, if we do 2 back to back, it's called a counter change of hand. If we do 3, it's a zigzag. Over. And then back. And then when you're ready, set them up to canter. Yeah. A little bit drifting in against your inside leg, but pretty smooth, right? First transition, we're leaning about. Subsequent transitions, we raise our expectation. I want you now, you don't have to be right on top of me, but I want you to ride more into the corners, okay? Yes, you're warming up, but I want you to really think about the fact that your corners and short ends are a place to prepare for what's next, and they get used to it. What I see in a lot of tests, the corners are an afterthought. He goes, I don't like those blocks in the corner. What's that? Ugh. There you go. Good boy. Shorten your reins 1/2 inch. Next long side, turn down the quarter line. Yield to the rail. It's not a leg yield because they're not crossing, but they're moving over. They can't cross their legs the opposite direction in the canter. They can't cross their legs in the canter. Over. Yeah, fine. Do that again. It's a nice warm-up exercise to insist that the horse move off the inside leg and connect into the outside rein. You're going to hear it over and over again. Over. Yeah. Over. Really good. Over. Good boy. What a good boy. Good. And then change rein across the diagonal with a change of lead through the trot. He's falling in against your inside leg there near the gate. So just, you have 2 corners here that you could get a little more into. The stuff in the corners down on that end inhibits your ability to get in there, but down here you can. So just teach him. Say, well, okay, when we're down at that end, you really have to listen to my inside leg and stand up and get a little bit. It doesn't have to be a Grand Prix corner, but if it's a 20-meter circle corner, which isn't a corner, right? That's not okay. Yeah, now down the long side a little forward and back. Push him out a little bit. Now bring him back. Bring him back, a little bit rounder. Now push him out a little bit. Now bring him back. And then turn early, yield to the rail. So your warm-up is a combination, lateral exercises, longitudinal exercises. There you go, over. Good, that's okay. Shorten your left rein a little bit. Now when you get the head tilt, the shoulder's falling a little bit right. So take both hands a little bit to the left, but know that the left leg is keeping him on the line. And yielding, over, there you go, super. Super, keep going, good. 10-meter circle at V. That's right. And when you reach the rail, walk. A little abrupt. He walked, he listened, but it was a little bit abrupt. You want to get the feeling it's a little bit more balanced. So canter left again. Contact. 10-meter circle at P. And set him up to walk. Okay, slightly above the bit, but better balance. I mean, honestly, dressage is crazy, isn't it? Because we're the only sport where a 10 is not perfect. It's merely excellent. So think about it. In our riding, we're striving for perfection, which is impossible. You can't ever get there. But we see some rides that are pretty darn close to perfection now. Now let the reins out. Let them relax a little bit. Say, okay, you get a little breather. Good boy. Yeah, you're a good boy. Because I love my girl. Yeah, she's my girl. I love her. She thinks I'm fabulous, don't you? She says, yes, I do. I love my horse. It's a nice horse. So what I see for these horses in terms of the show ring, their biggest challenges are the suppleness of the back. The walk can be an issue because they get fired up. They can lose rhythm in the walk. Now when he relaxes, his walk is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what you're looking for. You'll see oftentimes, we saw it in the nice little gray mare earlier. When she got tight, the rhythm went from 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you feel that, interrupt it. Say, well, okay, maybe I need to stop and settle you, or maybe I need to move you laterally, or maybe I need to drop the neck. You've got to figure out what helps the most to break it up. But most of these horses at some point will overachieve. They're like, oh, okay, I'm ready. And they lose rhythm. And shorten your reins. Go down to E. And between E and B, I want to see a half pirouette. to the left in the walk. And then before E, a half pirouette to the right in the walk. So what's the difference between a turn on the haunches and a pirouette? Size. Get him a little bit better on the bit here. A little better on the bit. Sit left. Okay, so you feel him step wide? You get to do it again. So he can't come against your outside leg, all right? So right leg. Yeah, there. Good. And pet him. That was much better. And now to the right, on the bit. Turning and on the bit. Turning. Yes, pet him. Okay. So here you go. Give him a big pat. So besides the first one where he stepped wide, your sense of those is good. Your sense of where they are. What are the hind legs doing? Do I have shoulder control? That was good. So a half turn on the haunches can be a meter wide and still get an 8, 9, or a 10. A pirouette has to be smaller than that. And it was. Okay? Just be sure you feel where the hind legs are from the beginning. Okay? Now show me a diagonal extended walk. Let the reins out, a little more. So he's got to lower his pole, maybe an inch or two there. So in order to get a 7 or higher, they have to have overstep. He's got a little bit, but he'd probably get a 6.5. Has that been kind of your experience? Yes, it has. Okay. Unless they have significant overstep and reach from the shoulders, the score will be below a 7. For me, a 7 is a passing grade. And then shorten your reins. Oh boy. And set him up for canter left lead. Contact. Feel the outside rein. There. Feel the outside rein. Good. Shorten the reins. A little bit more of a shoulder fore feeling. So if the left hand is into the neck, he's not quite listening to your left leg. Okay? Turn down the quarter line, yield to the rail. Over from there. There. He goes, oh, darn, this is hard. Ugh, it's awful. That's fine. There you go. And shoulder fore. Oh, they live in it. He's got to be a little straighter on that left lead. What he wants to do is go a little wide behind and not necessarily listen to your left leg. Turn early. Do it again. Get him a little rounder. He's a little slightly above the bit there. I mean slightly. Feel that right outside rein. There you go. Now on the rail, don't move your legs, but counterflex him. Flex him right, flex him left. Yeah, see, that's not swinging the neck. 20-meter circle. That's okay. Flex him right. Shoulders don't fall out. You feel it? Fine. Flex him left. There, that's how round he has to be. Okay? And a little right flexion, you got a little slight head tilt going. He doesn't fall in, he doesn't fall out. Yeah, there. Now diagonal, simple change at X. Flex him right. Right rein does not mean change. Yeah, he says, yes, it does. And walk. He doesn't get punished, but you just have to pay attention and say, well, darn it. He won't let me touch the right rein on the diagonal without changing. I must have taught him that and didn't mean to. And canter right. Why don't you come over here? You? Me? Yeah, you. What? I have my horse. Well, you could bring your horse too. You know, you could be part of the conversation. She says, well, I am. And then turn early, next alongside, yield to the rail. Over. Shorten your reins a little bit. Keep the inside hand off the neck. Over. Yeah. Do it one more time. He just wants to trail the haunches a little bit, and he's not always round enough. And I'm talking like slightly rounder, like 5% rounder. Yeah. So you have to be able to use a little bit of a direct rein. Sponge your fingers on the outside. There. There. Yeah. A little tricky sometimes in the pole, huh? He says, darn it. Yeah. Okay, now diagonal, 3 simple changes, meaning canter, walk, canter. So you're going to make sure when you ask for the right lead, he picks it up, and he waits for you if you're setting him up for the left lead. and canter. On the bit, you've got to keep that right rein, and walk, and right lead, and canter. Come on. Yeah, the haunches swung to the right, and walk, and canter. No, you're on the wrong. It's okay, tell him he's okay, he's not in trouble. There. Yeah, circle. So look, he gets offended, right? He's like, oh, now I'm offended. You've got to feel as though you can be effective without him getting a little irritated. Now on that circle, counterflex him right. It doesn't mean change. So you're going to have to spend more time on the diagonals without him just automatically changing. So keep the right flexion, come across the diagonal, but don't move your legs or seat. Just keep the right flexion. Say, see? Right rein does not mean change. He goes, yes, it does. Yes, it does. Now walk, walk, walk. On the bit, right lead. Yes, and pet him. A little stiffening, but still it was better, wasn't it? It was straighter. Good. One more diagonal, 3 simple changes. We're going to give him a break. You have to have more control now over your changes. On the bit. Canter left. He has to answer you. Good boy. And walk. Canter right. A little crooked. And walk. Canter left. Good. Circle at that end. Now stretch him in the canter. Let him stretch a little bit in the canter. That's a reward. So you feel that neck waggling around? So when he does that, when you offer more rein, you know that it's his tendency, okay? It's not that you're actively doing it, and sometimes these horses are a little tricky because it looks as if the rider's waggling the neck, but actually the horse is doing it. There, and pat him. Good boy. And shorten the reins. Flex him right early. Come on to the diagonal. When you get past the quarter line, A to change. So you already have the right flexion now. There, so right rein doesn't mean change. Okay, was he on your aid? He wasn't? No. Was he astride behind you? Yeah. Okay, well, circle here. The other day, he was always ahead, that direction, okay? So here we go, he's gonna keep us on our toes. If he gets behind you, then you can turn up the volume a little bit in terms of how much pressure or how much seat to aid the change, okay? Now come on a diagonal, shorten your right rein a little bit. Hands really close together. Work the bit if he's not quite supple enough. Flex him a little left out of the corner. Yeah, flex him a little left. Now switch your legs, squeeze, he changes. Now, okay. Wasn't quite through, but it looked like it was more on the aids. Was it? Yeah. Yes, okay, good. So set him up to walk. We're gonna give him a little breather. They have to canter a long time, guys. Most people don't canter nearly enough. You do, but most people don't. They don't. You watch them and you're going, for God's sake, you rode for 45 minutes and you trotted for what, 25?
Yeah, why?
Why? Yeah, why? The canter becomes much more important. And the canter, I mean, they canter for longer periods of time. They have to do more things in the canter. I mean, think about it. At Pre-St. George, they have to do, in the trot, shoulder in, 10-meter circles and half pass, medium and extended canter. In the canter, I mean, it's medium and extended trot, 4 things. In the canter, they have to do medium and extended canter, but they have to do 4 tempi changes, 3 tempi changes, canter half passes both directions, working canter pirouettes, and your transitions, right? What else? Am I missing anything? It's at least double. Yeah, I'm thinking about it too. But it's at least double what you had to do in the trot. Okay? And so he's gonna, he's gonna test us because the other day you couldn't touch the right rein without him popping a change. First time, by coming out of the corner with them already flexed right, he didn't answer you. But you just have to be careful. You can't be too predictable. If you never touch the right rein in that left lead on the diagonal specifically, unless you're setting him up for a change, he's right. Okay? So we have to be able to, if he doesn't answer you, then you don't get after him, but maybe the next time you aid the change where he's not answering, you either increase the intensity of the aid, or maybe you have to use the stick and say, look, when I aid the change, you're going to do it. Okay, he doesn't get to have an opinion on that one. Because, oh, well, yeah, I do. All right, so walk one more circle, let him stretch a little bit, and then we'll continue. So I just don't want you to get stuck. What I was saying earlier is we're learning something new, we're improving, we have a little plateau, which is fine. Learning something, we're making improvement, little plateau. This is okay. Hardly anybody, I'm sure, you know, the top riders in the world, it's like that, right? Well, I'm sure there are little setbacks. What we don't want is, here we go, long plateau, or, and this happens when people don't get enough instruction. Long plateau, whoops, we slid back down to where we were before.